there is a new number one for the AFC Power Rankings going into Week 8 for me. And that number one team in the AFC, the favorite to win the AFC right now, is... You think it's the Bengals? It is the Bills. I have the Buffalo Bills moving up one spot. They did not play a game today or yesterday. However, the Bills, I think that, if you can kind of see my second team, which is, of course, the Cincinnati Bengals. And the reason that I don't have the Bengals at number one is because I think that if the Bills were to play the Bengals right now, I think the Bills would win that matchup against the Bengals, because the Bengals, they obviously showed that their offense is extremely explosive. Their defense is actually a lot better than a lot of people thought it was going to be. But I think the Bills are a little bit of a more complete team right now, even though they just came off of that loss against the Titans. But that was a close one. They definitely could have won that game against the Titans. I still think that probably right now, I would say the Bills are the best team in the AFC. But hey, if the Bengals continue to perform at that rate, I might even put them at number one. So, the Bills move up one spot from number 2 to number 1. The Bengals, they move up 2 spots, man. I've been saying it ever since I started these AFC power rankings that the Bengals are very legitimate. Ever since the Packers game, I've been telling you guys, man, like they should have won that game. They had multiple opportunities. They could be potentially undefeated right now. Now, I know like things didn't go their way, and the same thing could be said for us. We could technically, aside from that Bengals game, we had chances to win the Raiders game. We could have gone into that game 6-0, but we did not. And we could have also lost multiple games, like against the Colts, the Lions, the Chiefs. We could have lost a lot more games. So same thing could be said for the Bengals. But the way that they're playing right now, this offense, Joe Burrow playing at a very high level, Jamar Chase looking like, easily the offensive rookie of the year, had 200 yards receiving, man, on this Ravens secondary that's supposed to be what I called the best in the league. Now, I know we have injuries and that type of stuff, but come on. You let a rookie come into Baltimore and get 200 yards. And I'm starting to go on a little bit of a Ravens rant here, which I'm not trying to do. But yes, I believe that the Bengals are the second best team in the AFC right now. They move up 2 spots. Number 3, let me get a drum roll. It is your Baltimore Ravens. Yes, look, I know like I was a little bit overreactionary in yesterday's video. I addressed that at the beginning of the podcast. If you guys missed it, I went through the video and just kind of said what I redact, what I still agree with. So if you guys want to rewatch the beginning of the podcast, you'll see what I'm talking about. I still think the Ravens are going to be a lot better than what we saw yesterday against the Bengals. They moved down 2 spots. They're no longer the number 1 team in the AFC for me, but they're still in the top 3. Look, they're still tied for the lead in the AFC with the Bengals, with other teams that are 5-2. I still think the Ravens are a good team, but they cannot come out for the rest of the games and perform the way they did against the Bengals. It just will not stand. You have to be able to tackle. You have to be able to protect your franchise quarterback, Lamar Jackson. And you need to find some way to run the damn ball. You cannot rely on Lamar Jackson every single game to bail you out of holes. And that's exactly what's happening for the Ravens right now. However, I know coming off of the bye, they're going to get a few people that were injured coming back. And hopefully they just come back ready to play, man. And hopefully they don't disrespect the fan base and the organization by not being able to tackle, man. That was the most frustrating thing for me. So I still have them as the number 3 team in the AFC. That's just how I feel right now. But they do drop 2 spots. Number 4, I still have the Chargers. Look, they were on their bye. They only drop a spot. I had to drop them down because I really wanted to move the Bengals up into the top 2. I think that they deserved it after that performance. But the Chargers didn't do anything wrong here. They just happened to be a victim of happenstance there. At number 5, the Las Vegas Raiders. Watch out for them, man. +1. They're really on the come up right now. They're looking good. I think that they deserve this. They are in the top 5 of my AFC power rankings, just below the Chargers. But obviously that could change over the next few weeks. If the Raiders continue to play at the level that they're playing, their defense is much improved. I'm thinking the John Gruden firing was actually not a bad thing for them there. Number 6, the Tennessee Titans. They move up 2 spots. absolutely dominated the Kansas City Chiefs. And you've noticed that you haven't seen the Chiefs yet. I don't have them as a top 6 team. I don't even have them as a top 7 team. I'll give you a peek there. Look, the Chiefs have been bad, but look, the Titans, they're looking pretty good. I know they lost to the Jets. That's one of their 2 losses, and that's not a team that you want to lose to. But they do move up 2 spots. I think that they have their formula, and if the defense can play the way they did against the Chiefs, I mean, they can pretty much beat a lot of teams here. So the Titans, they go up to number 6. You know, I despise them, but hey, good win for them. Number 7, the Colts. I have the Colts here. They are 3-4. They move up 2 spots. Now, I know a lot of people might think that this is very high, but I've been super high on the Indianapolis Colts for a while. You saw how they played up against the Ravens and it took Lamar Jackson literally turning Super Saiyan, turning into Superman just to be able to overcome and win that game. But aside from that, the Colts are a pretty good team despite what their record says. I believe they're going to be over 500, and I believe that they will be eventually competing for the AFC South. Don't know if they're going to be good enough to get into the playoffs. We'll have to see. But I think that they will be definitely knocking on the door, if nothing else. They move up 2 spots for me, the Colts. Number 8, I have the Brownies. They moved down 1 spot, and again, they did get that win over the Broncos, but I just wanted to move up the Colts. I wanted to move up the Titans, which is why the Browns had to move down 1 spot, despite winning against the Broncos. And, of course, Dearness Johnson, the big breakout star, Case Keenum, looking okay. I mean, you know, they still have a lot of injuries, so right now the Browns are going to be number 8 for me. I'm pretty comfortable with that, at least until they get a little bit healthier there. Number 9, here they are. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, the Super Bowl favorites, the former Super Bowl champions, the dynasty in the making with Patrick Mahomes signing a $100 million contract. They are currently at number 9, and I dropped them 4 spots. Guys, I mean, let's see. You can't play defense. You can only put up 3 points against a very bad Titans defense. You're supposed to have an explosive offense. You can't protect Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is turning the football over. What's good about this team right now? There's just nothing good about this team right now. Now, look, they're still only 3-4. There could obviously be a turnaround, but as of right now, it is not looking good for this Kansas City Chiefs team. And this is just purely on talent. The reason that I have them here kind of high in the top 10 at number 9. But things are not looking good for them. Things need to change. Because if not, it's going to get really ugly. They still have a lot of tough games. And if they don't get their act together, they might even miss the playoffs. And that would be catastrophic. Because this is supposed to be a dynasty. Number 10, speaking of dynasties, you have the New England Patriots at 3-4. They have no movement. Even though they absolutely destroyed the New York Jets. However, you know, let's look at the level of competition. But hey, they're not playing too bad. Mac Jones is looking pretty good. So I think number 10 is fine for them. Number 11, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. They actually move up 1 spot, and the reason being is that I could not, in good faith, put the Broncos above the Steelers right now. The Broncos are pathetic. I'm sorry to say it. Look, it's not their talent. And I know I just totally skipped over the Steelers, but they were on their bye. You guys know I'm still not convinced by Large Benjamin. And, you know, aside from a really good defense and maybe Najee Harris, I don't know if they're going to go very far. But we'll have to see. The Steelers could be on the come up, but they are at number 11 for me. Because the Broncos, man, they're just pathetic right now. It's not their talent level. It's not their players. It's their coaching. I think it has a lot to do because they have the talent. And it's also their quarterback. I'm sorry to say, Teddy Two Gloves. I like Teddy Two Gloves, but he's just not it. They still have their quarterback woes, and that's going to be a problem for them for the rest of the season. They move down 1 spot. They're at the very top of the trash teams in the AFC, which you're going to see right now. Number 13, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were on their bye. They stay there at number 13. Number 14, the Miami Dolphins at 1-6. I wish I could move them lower because they can't get anything going, man. Tua is not looking good. I mean, he's been okay, but the fact of the matter is he doesn't seem like he has that cold-blooded killer in him that you need to really win football games. They're 1-6. They stay at number 14 because the Houston Texans got blown out by the Cardinals, but they had to move up 1 because I just don't think that there's any worse team in the AFC right now than the New York Jets. We got to be honest. And they just lost Zach Wilson. They did just get the GOAT, Joe Flacco. So maybe I will actually boost up the Jets this next week, especially after Joe Flacco comes out and carries the Jets to a win there. But look, the Jets are terrible. What do you want me to tell you? So let's do a little recap of my Week 8 AFC power rankings. Sorry about that. Let me take a drink of water. The Buffalo Bills, still at number 1. They're at 4-2 right now. They move up 1 spot. Number 2 is the Cincinnati Bengals, 5-2, move up 2 spots. The Ravens, 5-2, move down 2 spots from number 1. The Chargers moved down a spot just because I wanted to move the Bengals up there. They're at 4-2. Number 5 is the Las Vegas Raiders. At 5-2, they move up 1 spot. The Titans at 5-2 move up 2 spots to number 6. Number 7, the Colts, 3-4. They move up 2 spots to number 7. The Browns at number 8, 4-3. They move down 1 spot. Number 9, the Chiefs, 3-4. They move down 4 spots, the biggest drop in this power rankings. Number 10, the New England Patriots at 3-4. Number 11, the Steelers at 3-3. They move up 1 spot because the Broncos had to move down 1 spot at 3-4. As you have the Jags, the Dolphins, the Texans, and the New York Jets. There are my AFC power rankings and your favorites for the AFC right now.